Terry, the under-20s are in action on Tuesday night against Falkirk away. Daniel Boateng's expected to start in midfield. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, he came on Saturday against Ross County in midfield. He can play there. He's a good holding midfield player for the Arsenal under-21s. He can play centre-half, as we've seen before, for our under-20s. And he can also play right back too. So he's got a lot of strings to his bow, and it's just a case of giving him game time in a position where I feel, well, if we do get injuries, then he can come on and tie the midfield down. So he's a big presence, and I think he headed the ball once on Saturday against Ross County, so he has touched the ball in match action for Hibs. So at least he's done just that. But you know, he's desperate to play. He wants to learn. He's getting used to the life in Scotland and to the language sort of thing. But he's certainly enjoying his football, and he did well last week against Hearts. And it just keeps him nice and sharp for matches when it comes to the first team too.
How beneficial have you found watching the under-20 matches? Because you've already promoted Jason Cummings and Sammy Stanton into the starting lineup. It is literally the final step before they come into your plans.
Yeah, it certainly is. But you look at Danny Handling last week against Hearts, scored 2 goals, had a much better second half than the first half, and I think he was probably the most surprised person when I named him in the team for the match against Ross County. But with the injury situation we had, I still felt it was right, and you know, he grabbed his chance with both hands when it came to the game itself, and put in a terrific performance against Ross County. So you know, with the under-20s players, you know, if I'm watching, or Morris is watching, or James is watching, obviously James has to watch, but you know, if we're watching the match, we see things in these 20s matches that, you know, we feel are good, and you know, if we do see that situation, then we're going to promote the players up to the first team, and I don't see any reason why players that are doing well at 20s level can't play for the first team. It's been proven in the past to be the right pathway. But I think what it does do, it gives players match sharpness. If we go to a reserve league next year, that's a different issue, but then gives all the substitutes a chance then to go and play in the reserve matches and keep their sharpness, keep their match fitness, and get their match wind when it comes to playing. Because I know when players play in reserve matches or 20s matches, you know, it takes a bit of time to get them up to speed. And if I call upon these players off the bench or to come into the team, if there's players injured or suspended, then these players have got to hit the ground running and be fit when it comes to matches, and also have that match wind, that match fitness, that they can go straight into the team and not feel out of place.
There's a message then to players, irrespective of whether or not they're a senior first team squad member or a teenager as well, just coming up through the youth ranks, that you're always watching, and that if they are playing well enough at that level, then they will be given an opportunity.
Yeah, we always look upon every game as a match, as an interview, so a job interview in many aspects. When, you know, it's 90 minutes long, if you stay on for the whole game, it's longer than that. But it's a chance to impress not only the people that you want to impress, which is the team manager and assistant managers and youth team coaches and all this kind of thing. You're also impressing the public. You're also impressing watching scouts, watching managers, and now in the modern world of the internet, you know, the game can be, you know, recorded, and which it normally is, and then broadcast all around the world. So you never know who's watching, and you know, it is a job interview. It's a chance to impress, a chance to do well, a chance to, you know, lay down markers and show the manager that you want to be in the first team and you want to be playing on a regular basis. So there's a lot riding on one game, but there's always a lot riding on one game. Every game we play, there's people watching from all around the world, and people watching that you don't think are there at matches, but they are. So sometimes you see things in games that you feel could be beneficial to your first team.
Scott Robertson unfortunately picked up an injury in the under-20s match last week. Have you received confirmation of the full extent of that setback?
Yes, he's got a grade 2 medial ligament tear, which is the ligament that runs on the inside of the knee. There's one that runs on the outside called the lateral. The medial one is the inside, and I've had many problems with the ligaments in the past, and they're horrible to try and get right very quickly. You know, we're looking probably between 6 to 8 weeks for Scott, which is a hammer blow really for him and for the club. But these things happen in football, and it was fouled. I think that led to our second goal, but he was fouled, and in the end got up and was played the ball and crossed the ball, even though he's got the medial ligament strain, and I think that may have made it even worse. But it's certainly one that will take time to heal, will take time for rehab as well, and obviously then he's got to get his fitness levels back up again. But it's one that it's the injury where you always if you catch your toe on the inside, your big toe, say, and the foot diverts out, it's that medial ligament. It's that ligament that you feel sore in your knee because it's the one that sort of keeps the knee straight. And it's if you do end up twisting the knee or opening up the knee, then they can aggravate that injury. So we just got to take he's got to take his time, and we've got to make sure he comes back right, which I'm sure he will do.
Whereabouts are we, Terry, with regards to Owain Tudor-Jones and Kevin Thompson now as well, in terms of when they can really resume full squad training?
Well, Kevin Thompson's back in full squad training, but he's only been back for 3 or 4 training sessions, so he's still quite some way off in terms of fitness and sharpness for featuring in the first team squad. But it's good to see him back in action. Owain Tudor-Jones had an injection in his hamstring, which he injured just before the Celtic match, which forced him to sort of pull out of that match right at the last minute. He's had an injection in there in the area, so that's going to take a week to settle down. Then there's another couple of weeks of inactivity after that. So we're looking at him probably, building up to anywhere near full fitness, probably 4 to 5 weeks at least. That's 2 players, well, 1 player that's out for some time, which is Scott Robertson. Then Owain Tudor-Jones for not as long as that, and then Kevin Thompson's, not so much the opposite, but that's good news because he's back in squad training.